Hi everyone, this is Sandy Reese with Stampacrew.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Thanks for joining me today. We have a great masculine card using the Trusty Tools stamp set and dies. This, I know Father's Day's over, but it's great for birthdays, for thank yous, for lots of different things. And then what I'm pairing with this today, I have a couple other products. We're going to be using the, I'm just looking it up real quick in my catalog. It is the, hold on, I got it, Weekend Adventures Designer Paper. So this was part of our Super Saturday class, and we're using this one, which I really love for this card because it has kind of a paint spatter look. And we're going to use the paintbrush that's in the set. So I love it when products coordinate, and they weren't even supposed to. We're also using the Distressed Brick Embossing folder. So let's get going with our project. I have got our pieces here. We're using Misty Moonlight for our base. We have a piece of white for the inside. And then for the front, I have a layer of Smoky Slate, a layer of white. Then I have a piece of the base, Smoky Slate, I remember the name of it, Smoky Slate that I embossed, and then I cut off about 3/4 of an inch on the side. So I just had to run it through the embossing folder, and it lines up perfectly. We're going to spread these apart though, and we're going to put this in here. But before I do that, I want to add a little paint spatter to this. So I'm going to move everything else out of the way so nothing bad happens to it. I'm going to grab my Misty Moonlight Stampin' Right marker, and I'm going to use this brush tip. And what I like to do, because I don't want to bang it too hard, I don't want to cause too much damage to my brush tip, I'm just going to put a drop and kind of rub that around on the tip of the marker, and that's so it's real wet and juicy. And then I'm going to take a block, and we're just going to tap right here. Now if it's not coming off, it looks like it's soaked in pretty good. I'm going to add another drop. So I want my tip here nice and juicy so that that ink will just pop right off there. There we go. So you can put as much or as little as you want. So I think that is plenty. And let's see, I might just wipe off the plastic right here around in case I got any ink on there. And then we'll just let the rest of the ink soak in that I didn't use, and our tip is still nice and pointy. Okay, so I'm giving that another minute to dry. Hopefully we'll just dry that up with our fingers. Wipe it on our dark pans, and we're ready to go. All right, while we're waiting, let's do the rest of our stamping. Now, I did pre-stamp and die cut a hammer and a paintbrush. And then I die cut a little label, so we're going to stamp that. So I'm going to use Misty Moonlight, and this stamp that says "You're the most awesome." We're going to stamp this over to the left side, just like that. And then we have these little nuts and bolts. We're going to stamp those in Smoky Slate. Just like this. Add some fun little hardware to it. Let's go ahead and do our inside sentiment. And let's get our blue back out. And I'm going to do this as a happy birthday. My husband is the handyman around our house, and he always does a great job. He's currently getting the back prep to put a shed in that our daughter Katie's going to help him with. She's coming early for 4th of July. So that's the inside. Okay, that's all of our stamping done. Let's adhere this in. Hopefully all of our ink splatter is dry. Now, normally for a class, I would have like an area to spatter, or I would do it in my garbage can so it doesn't go everywhere. But you know, sometimes we can't avoid that. Okay, so I'm going to adhere this other white to the smoky slate. So we're going to have a couple of narrow borders here, narrow mats. And we'll put here, this one right here. It's narrow as well. And then just lay it down gently in case I need to move something. Same with this one. Just making sure I have a nice narrow border. And then let's add this to the middle of this right here. That way I can make sure everything is nice and even. And then I can move things a little bit if I need to. Okay, I think that is pretty good. And I'll post measurements on my blog if you want for cutting, if you would like to make one of these at home. Just want to remind you that we're going to color now first. But while I'm coloring, when you place an order for at least $50 online with me, I'll send you a kit of that month's card class projects. Let's see. For free. So I would love to have your order. Make sure I'm coloring this right. I am using, this is one of the neutral, or one of the, I don't know if it's called neutrals. It's number 500 in the medium range somewhere. Okay, and then this is smoky slate, light smoky slate. So just going to use this on the rest of the hammer. If you want to use dark smoky slate, do a little shading, you can do that too. My husband doesn't really care about that, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. Okay, I might just go back over a little bit of that, make it a little bit darker, and just kind of add a little bit of shading with the same color. Okay, a little light shading. And then we're going to take Misty Moonlight. I might use this side, and we're going to just color a little bit on the tips like it's been used for painting. Okay. All right. That looks good and uneven. So I'm going to take a little bit of this Misty Moonlight ribbon. It comes in a pack with Whisper White, or Whisper White. I'm dating myself. Plain white, or basic white, whatever you want to call it. And we can fray this a little bit if we want. Make it look a little more rugged. Okay, I'm going to fold that. And I'm just going to tape it behind here, just to add a little bit of soft texture to our card. And I'm going to grab just a little bit of Scotch tape to put this down. You can use tear and tape or seal or whatever you have. I like a little bit of Scotch tape in my supplies. And then we're going to use dimensionals to pop this up. Put that one right there. And this is going to go right across the top. Doesn't have to go all the way to the top, but close enough. Let's pop up our hammer. I'm just using 2. You don't need a whole bunch. And don't really want to cover all that ink spatter. There we go. And then we'll do our paintbrush. that's good because we have a lot of paint spatter right there. That's perfect. And then last but not least, we're going to use these metallic gems. And we're just going to use the silver and do a large and a small. They're sparkly, but they're metallic, so they look almost like hardware. So they're perfect to go with these masculine cards. And that is it. I mean, how cool is that? Who wouldn't want to get that? One of your handymen, or your husband, or your brother, or your dad, or whoever helps you out around the house or around the apartment. So hope you enjoyed today's project. Make sure to click subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos. And don't forget, we still have our sweet sale going on through the month of June. For any sweet or sweet product, you can get another sweet or sweet product at half off. So really good deal there. All right, thanks everybody for stopping by, and I will see you next time.